Hey, what's up, my people? Zemgo here, the freaking geek himself, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Mpm-4 masterpiece movie Optimus Prime. Yes, we're not done. We're not done with this guy. I wish we were, but we're not done. We're not done. There's still more to talk about. But okay, let me preface this by telling a little story. Every now and then, this thing happens that does kind of annoy me, where a toy will have kind of a widespread reported issue, and then somebody comes along and says, oh, everyone's just doing it wrong. And the last time that happened was with Masterpiece Megatron, with the silencer connection to the gun barrel. And everybody was sending me the link to this video saying, oh, here, watch this video, you're just doing it wrong. And I watched this video and I was like, no, I'm not doing it wrong. That's exactly the way I had mine. It's in the instructions. I knew to do that. I had it right. The connection is just too tight. And even Vangelis said on Twitter that, yeah, everybody's sending me this video, but I was doing it right. The connection is just too tight. So that just seemed like it was a case of your mileage may vary, not really a case of everybody's just doing it wrong. And now the same thing is happening with this guy right here, where the issue that everybody has with this toy, with the truck mode anyway, is this right up here, with the hood not sitting perfectly flush and these gaps underneath the windshield. These sections just not sitting flush with the hood like they're supposed to. And, of course, people pop up and say, oh, everybody's just doing it wrong. And the video that everybody's sending me now is of a Japanese reviewer. I think he's Japanese. My apologies if I got his nationality wrong. I am just assuming, so I apologize if I'm wrong. But in his video, which thankfully did have English subtitles, which I very much appreciated, he was like, you know, everybody's just doing it wrong. Here's how you do it right so everything sits flush. And I'm watching the video and I'm like, yeah, I did that. Yes, I know about that. Yeah, I was doing that. Yeah, okay, you're not telling me anything I didn't already know. And the funny thing is after he transformed it right, it still looked pretty much just like this, with this section of the hood still bumped up and there were still gaps underneath the windshield. So no, perfect truck you did not get. It was still not right. And then you have people on Twitter going, oh look, I transformed it right and everybody else is just doing it wrong. But I still see gaps underneath the windshields because it's all just a matter of perspective. So guess what? You still did it wrong. So that's where we are now. And for the record, I did not rush my review. Today is Thursday. I got my first copy of the toy last Friday. So I was messing with this guy for 3 solid days before I ever put the camera on him on Monday. So it's not a case of I rushed the review and just didn't know what I was doing. It was just a case of I could not get this to work no matter what I did. And the mod was the last-ditch effort to try to make things work. So that was the case there. But since I already knew I had another copy coming, I figured, you know what, this could be my guinea pig copy, so I'll do the mods just to see if I can make it work. And even with the one mod, now granted, Wotafa did a couple mods to him, I just did the one. Now Wotafa did a couple mods to his, and he actually did get everything to sit perfectly flush the way it's supposed to with his mods. So you still can do that if you want to, but as always, you know, I mean, one thing I do have to mention is, you know, mod at your own risk. You know, because you could end up kind of damaging the toy more than you fix it. So, mod at your own risk. But since I knew I had a second copy coming, I figured, okay, well, I can use this guy as a guinea pig and just see what works. But guess what? You can get everything to sit perfectly flush without modding anything. It is doable. Glory, glory, hallelujah. It is doable, but it's very specific. That's the problem of this toy, is that it's not that it's technically not that everybody's doing it wrong. I mean, technically it is, but it's just a case of we're not doing it specifically enough. Everything is going where it's supposed to go. It's just that things need to be done so very specifically to get it to work. And the problem area is this right here, these two panels. This is the problem area. This door of the truck. This is the bane of our existence. This is what is knocking everything out of whack. This is what is causing all the problems, all the frustration, all the aggravation with this figure's truck mode, is the door panels. And there is a way to get that to line up. Let me get this guy out of the way. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take all this apart. So we're going to undo this, undo that, and untab, untab, and we're going to undo all this. Come on, come on, work with me, work with me. There we go. Undo all this, and you can see this copy is not modded, although I do have a big stress mark right there. But as you can see, everything is still intact. I did not mod this. This is right out of the box, so I have not done anything to this. You can see on this side again. See, I haven't done anything to it. Everything is still intact. So now we're just going to take all this, untab that, and we're going to bring all this up. So now let's just undo all this right here. Undo it, and there we go. So I just want to bring these up, just bring these panels up just to get them out of the way, so you can see what's going on here. Now the instructions tell you to basically have all of this in place beforehand. So have these panels pegged in beforehand, have these windows tabbed in beforehand, and then just put it all together, boom, boom, boom. That doesn't seem to really work all the time. It can. I actually have gotten it to work a couple times, but the method that I finally came up with has the highest success rate of anything else that I tried. So here's what we're going to do. So let me raise up a little bit here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to undo these panels now. We're going to actually leave these out. So we're going to open that up, open these panels up. We're going to leave this open right there. So now I'm going to take all this and clip this together like it's supposed to be. Give it a squeeze. Oops. Give it a squeeze. Like that. And as you can see here, everything is flush. Look, that hood perfectly flush. No gaps underneath the windshields. That is exactly how it should be. Now here is how you keep it this way. Very specific way. What you want to do is you actually want to take these two panels and line them up beforehand. And you have a double hinge on this window section here that you can work with, so you can just kind of bring that out a little bit. It does help you. Just bring it out a little bit. Don't bring it in all the way. Just bring it out a little bit. And just have all of this lined up before you tab it in. So have that door perfectly lined up right now. And once you do that, bring both of these panels in together. Raise up the eyebrows here just to get them out of the way. So take these two panels and push them in together at the same time. Like that. You can see everything is perfectly lined up, and you want this mirror section also perfectly lined up. You can see how that's perfectly flat. Everything's flat. And you can see right there, look, no gap. Everything is still flush. Now we can do it on the other side. And this side actually fights me a little bit more. But again, have everything lined up ahead of time and push it all in together. Like that. And you can see everything is lined up. Look at the front, still perfectly flush, no gap. So once you do that, now you can actually take all this and just bring it back down, bring this back down. The instructions tell you to leave this step for last, but guess what? You can take all this and clip this in right now. It doesn't affect anything. Like that. And of course now the phone's going to ring. Wait a second. Sorry about that. People always want to call when I'm in the middle of shooting a video, but anyway. So once you have that step done, now we can take everything and plug it back in. And this is a case now where you have to be very careful because everything, this is a very delicate alignment right here. And if anything gets knocked out of whack in the littlest way, boop, that's going to pop up and you have to start from square one again. So this step you have to be very finessey and very careful about. So just make sure you have all this in the way you're supposed to. Have this push down, and again, just make sure, okay, everything's still flush. Make sure that these tabs are lined up on either side, right there. Okay, so now let's just get all this pushed in right there, and now we can take the grill and plug that in. Okay, there we go. Got that plugged in. Yeah, we have to finesse it. We need to be careful with it now, because if not, and squeeze this, just try to make sure. And again, just be careful. You gotta finesse it. You gotta finesse it, because this is delicate now. This is delicate. So once you do that, now you can come to the back, and you want to just hold all this down while you do this step, because there is something that needs to tab in right in here. So just make sure you have all that lined up just right. And now you can take these bits and plug them in, and plug them in like that. And if you have the hips shifted all the way back as far as they can go, which on mine, everything, those hips are shifted as far back as they go, and you know they will be, because these will tab in with no problem. So you just go boop right there, that tabs in, just get that tabbed in, and boop, tabbed in, and bring his eyebrows down. And you can see now, he's doing the people's eyebrow, but now you can see, look, perfectly flush, no gaps. That is the way you want it. That is the way it is supposed to be. Everything is lined up. It is totally doable. As you can see, it is totally doable to get everything lined up and everything flush. It just takes a very specific way of doing it to get it to happen, and that's what's frustrating. So I definitely maintain my opinion of this toy, that this needed a couple more passes during the design stage. This needed a little bit more refinement, because again, it's not really the case of everybody's doing it wrong. It's the case of we're just not doing it in that very, very specific way to get this delicate alignment where it needs to be, to where you can get everything to sit perfectly flush. And this reminds me very much of the last night Nitro. If you remember my review of Nitro, that bit of the wing transformation that can easily pop off, you know, I said the same thing. It's like, you can make it work. You can do it without popping that piece off. It just takes, you have to be very careful, and you have to finesse it. And, you know, after I said that, I was like, really? They should have just designed it better, so that's not an issue at all. And it's the same case with this figure. You can get it to work. You just have to finesse it and be really careful about it. Which basically means they should have just designed it better, so this is not an issue at all. I mean, granted, all of this could just very well be a case of your mileage may vary. You may get this toy, take it out of the box, and just boom, 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 and everything sits perfectly fine like it's supposed to. I don't know. All I know is I have 2 copies of this toy now, and both of them did the same thing to me. Every video that I have seen online, at the most, still, they end up with the gaps underneath the windshield and that hood bumped up just a little bit. Every video that I've seen, nobody has been able to get that to sit perfectly flush, except for Wotafa, and that's because he modded the crap out of his. So it is doable. It's totally doable. Now, you saw here that I have it transformed right now. I did it right. Everything is lined up exactly how it's supposed to be, so now I'm going to show you this. Watch. I'm going to pop that up now. So there we go. We're back to square one. We're back to the problem. Look, that's bumped up. We got the gaps. So you would think, oh, now that I have it transformed right, because I have it transformed right, don't I? Yes, I have it transformed right. You saw everything sitting flush. I should just be able to just give this a squeeze, and everything should just go back the way it was. Guess what? No. I'm squeezing, but guess what? The gap is still there. The gap doesn't go away now. Even though I now have everything right, now I can't get it back the way it was. Now that's gappy again, and that's bumped up right here. So, you see what I'm talking about? It's a very delicate alignment that's going on here, that if it gets knocked out of whack, it's done, and you have to go back to square one and do the process all over again. So ultimately, yes, this is definitely a problem of the toy. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's definitely a problem of the toy. It could be a case of your mileage may vary, but it's just a case of they should have refined that a bit more so that works smoothly like it should, without having to be really careful and finesse it and, we shouldn't have to do that with an official Masterpiece toy. I've never had to do this with an official Masterpiece toy, except for this guy. Now, with these pieces, these gray pieces that are supposed to connect to the smokestacks, there is no fixing that. Those just don't come out far enough to line up with that no matter what you do. So those I don't even waste my time with because they just don't work. So I just kind of leave these kind of pushed in just to kind of fill in some of that space in there. That definitely, nobody can argue that. That just doesn't work because that doesn't swing out far enough like it's supposed to. But everything else you can get to sit flush if you're really specific and finessey and careful about it. You can make it work. It is totally doable. I'm done with this toy. I'm done with it. Like I said, it's a gorgeous toy. I still love it. I still love it. I love the truck mode looks gorgeous. His robot mode looks gorgeous. Like I still love this figure. I still think it's great, but the truck mode ultimately just ended up being really frustrating because of this problem. So yeah, that's what happens when you get sick and tired of people saying, you're just doing it wrong. You stay up till 5:30 in the morning trying to figure it out. So now we're finally done. We can put this to rest. I'm done. There you go. But I hope this was helpful. So there you go. As usual, Big Bad Toy Store, M Games, Lori Plan, Twitter, stuff, things, links, descriptions down below. And that is it. So this is MGo saying, remember, you don't stop playing because you grow old. You grow old because you stop playing. Be geek, be proud. Palm in your face.